I'm the Cyborg Sheep, and welcome to the Weekend Post. In this episode, we're going to be taking a look at this thing right here. Now, most electricians will know what this is. However, on my channel, there's not many electricians. And most of you are going, what the heck is this thing? Some of you might know these to be familiar. However, what this is a sub panel. I figured I'd go out and just go around and see what I could see. I came riding by this house. It was all under construction. It had all the scaffolding up and the stuff on the front. And on the boulevard, there was like a bunch of stuff. And I looked a little closer. I found this, which this is actually very valuable. Well, not $1,000 valuable, but you know, it's definitely worth having. At least in my case. So basically, what this is most of you will be familiar with. Now, this is actually this house's main breaker. We have all sorts of breakers, and as you can see, our panel is actually completely full. There's no more space on it. So, we have a slight problem there. However, with this sub panel, right here, whenever we want to, we can now expand as much as we want. As you can see here, maybe right there, 60 amp. So this right here can take a maximum breaker size of 60 amps. So you'll have, so in your main breaker, I'll do a picture of it actually. It'll look something like this. We have the 3 wires, which are the 240 coming in, and we'll have a 120 volt and 120 volts. We'll have 2 legs coming in, and these are both hot at 120 volts, and then this will be our neutral. Now, basically, if you connect a load, for example, across here, it will see 120 volts from this leg connecting across here, and there will be no current limit on it, but it won't really matter because the load will draw whatever it needs. However, if there should be an overload state, for example, like we short out across here, then there will be like a dead short right here. Probably a big explosion will happen because most systems that houses get have a potential energy of 100 amps. Or in this case, what most of the meters are rated for is 200 amps, but we'll go with 100 amps just because it's easy. So what we do is, after we come from the meter, then what we do is we send the 3 legs plus a ground lead into this thing, the breaker box. And that's basically what I just showed you. So we'll have the 3 legs going in, and then what we have coming out is things like power for outlets, such as your normal 15 amp outlets like this. So you'll have your hot, neutral, and ground. And between here, you'll have 120 volts. Now, most circuit breakers in your house will be, the main breaker will be rated for 100 amps. And that's basically a general protection. So just in case you, like, say for instance, you take the 3 leads out and you connect across here and here, this breaker will flip before anything bad can happen down here, like the short circuit case that I mentioned up here. But then once we go through here, we don't just come straight out through the panel. To get the 15 amps rated, what we do is we send it through a smaller breaker, which is rated at 15 amps. Now, this is always what will screw you. This is also where you get the saying, "God dang it, I popped my breaker." When you have, say for example, some people have these things are called chop saws, and they use these really big motors. On startup, they draw tons of current. Lots of current means your breaker trips, and then you're like, why is my saw not working? So you gotta walk down, flip the breaker back on, and then go back to work. But yeah, big long extension cords, it's just a mess. So there's really no way around it. However, what you can do is put in between the hot and neutral a thing called a O-R-M-E-R. And that's not like Transformers kind of thing. That is actually, what this actually does is it isolates the 15 amp section that's limited by the breaker to two leads that are not limited. However, if you put a fuse right here, for example, then the tool or some sort of current limiting system that is tuned in such a way that you can run your saw and the breaker won't flip every time you say turn it on. So that's what we do. Now, in terms of how they connect this, what they do is they take a breaker off of the main circuit breaker, and it is a 60 amp circuit breaker, and so 660 amps, and what it will have is the two powered leads coming out from a bar inside here. We'll have a neutral lead, and we'll also have a ground. And then inside the box, one of these will be connected to one side of the bus bar, another side will be connected to another side. They'll have little attachment points for circuits that you want to attach. And then what they'll do with the ground is they'll have it on a separate bar, and they'll have the neutral on a separate bar. In here, ground and neutral will be combined. That's different for circuit, for sub panels is what we call them. So let's stop talking. Let's get into this thing. So let's start taking out these screws right here. Now, don't necessarily have to use a flathead screwdriver. You can also use a screwdriver like a screwdriver that has a head that looks a little something like this. This head is actually square, and surprisingly it actually fits. Now what this screwdriver's head is called is a Robinson head. This is a flathead, and thankfully these screws are a combination Robertson and flathead, so either screwdriver will work. So let's just take this off. And have a look inside. So, here's our circuit breakers and all of the wiring inside. Now, as you can see, it looks gorgeous. Clearly this was wired by an electrician, a qualified one. You can see, of course, because of the way they've done it is they'll just slot the wires into here, and then they'll put them off as close to the wall of the circuit. Alright, sorry about that. My phone was running out of space. Really sucks. I really want to get to using this more. However, its limited space is kind of crappy. So guess we'll just have to use the camera for now. So anyways, as I was saying, clearly this was wired by an electrician because of the way it's wired. The wires will come and they'll go pull them straight to the wall, and then they'll send them wherever they need to go. And that makes it look relatively clean inside. So I guess let's see if we can't get one of these out. Take a closer look at them. Alright guys, so there you have it. I have a ton of projects that I would use this for. Unfortunately, I do not have the qualification, so sadly, I may never get to those projects. However, they will be replaced with something equally awesome, and those I will hopefully be able to do. So yeah. So that's how I tore down a sub panel. I hope you dudes enjoyed. Consider subscribing. Maybe like the video. And I'll see you dudes in the next episode. Okay, let's see here. Tell you what, I'll actually see if I can't get out the excuse me, wires. Oh, those are tight. Oh, there we go. There's one. Oh, these are ridiculously tight. Nope. Well, I mean, at the very least. There we go. So, here's a circuit breaker. As you can see, this one is actually an interesting way to do it. What it is basically this one back here is the power input, and this is just for structural support. And it'll come out right here, like so. That's in framing, you flip. So anyways, as I was saying, this one right here, this is where your power goes in. So then it'll come out here. However, it will be limited by the circuitry inside this circuit breaker. Now, I don't know if I can get this open. I don't think I can, because the thing is that the way this is built is there'll be, like, these are just staked closed, so I don't know if there's really any way of getting these out. However, let's try another stab at getting these out. Oh gosh, that's really in there. Hold on a minute, let me see if I can't get that out. Alright, I was able to get all the screws out, so just taking these out, and there we go. So, let's take the camera off here, come for a closer look once more. So, now you can see how this should work, and some of the features that I explained at the beginning of the video. So, here you can see all the tooths. the teeth that will be powered at 120 volts for each leg. So how this will work is, you can see that there's a bar going across here, and I don't know if you can see in that gap there, but there is another bar that goes straight along here, and each of these will alternate. So there'll be one that's on one phase, one that's on the other phase, one that's one phase, other phase, and then it will alternate through the there's, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 that you can put on here. So you could have 3 with 240 volts or 6 with 120 volts. So yeah, now also you can see right here, this is the neutral bar, and this is the ground bar. However, if you take a look, and at least if I look, ground and neutral, there's no physical connection. This will actually be isolated because it's connected to the plastic body of the actual breaker bars, or the plastic, and then this is directly on here, just to collect any, say this gets struck by lightning, this will actually be connected straight into the ground, so any charge that's on here will be bleeded off into the ground, and hopefully you won't shock this to get 2,000 volts right into you, which is not nice. However, also we can see these, between these two, these are our 2 power inputs. So it'll come through this massive wire right here, and this will be one hot leg, this will be the other hot leg, and then this will be the neutral, connecting straight into the neutral bar. So there you go. I'll just keep taking this apart, and then yeah. Alright, so there we go. Basically completely taken apart. So, there you go. That's pretty neat. Alright, so before we sign off, I wanted to take a couple of minutes to talk about ground, and what does it fulfill in your circuits, or rather, what jobs does it do in your circuit, your AC circuit. So basically what ground is you have the 2 wires coming into your 15 amp outlet. Across them there is 120 volts. Now there's also a 3rd wire, which is ground. Now, what that is basically, on one end, at your breaker side, it is connected to a bar, and that bar will be connected straight into the ground. So there will actually be like these copper rods that are driven into the ground, and those will act as basically a way to ground out your circuits, or have them at earth potential. Now, how do they work? Well, basically, this will be connected. Say you have a microwave, or like say you have a metal enclosure. It basically is what it does. So here's the metal enclosure, and your 3 wires will come in to the system, like so. Ground will just stake off right to the case. Hot and neutral will go to power whatever they need to. However, what it does is, basically, if there's any case where a wire should break off and connect to the case, then there will be a short circuit path to ground. Now, what that does is, the breaker, like I said, it's only rated for 15 amps. So what it does is, because there's a short circuit, there's a high current path to ground. So what it will do is it'll trip this breaker, and you'll basically have to break this connection and wire it back into the system, and then it'll be all good. So that's basically what ground does. Alright guys, so there you have it. I have a ton of projects that I would use this for. Unfortunately, I do not have the qualification, so sadly, I may never get to those projects. However, they will be replaced with something equally awesome, and those I will hopefully be able to do. So yeah. So that's how I tore down a sub panel. I hope you dudes enjoyed. Consider subscribing. Maybe like the video. And I'll see you dudes in the next episode.